Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I am the co-founder of CAT Quant. In this video, we will be looking at the solutions for CAT 2019 Slot-2 Quant questions. So this video has the explanations for all the 34 questions in Quant. Initially, the question will be displayed. Then if you want to solve it, please pause the video, and following the question, we will have the explanation. This will continue 34 times for all the 34 questions. So have fun watching this video and trying to solve it. In this question, the average of 30 integers is given as 5. So the average of 30 integers is given as 5. Therefore, the total will equal 30 into 5, which is equal to 150. Now, among these 30 integers, there are exactly 20 integers which don't exceed 5. So 20 integers are less than or equal to 5. And 10 integers are definitely greater than 5. Now, what is the highest possible value of the average of these 20 integers? We are required to find out the highest average of these 20 integers. We will find out the highest possible sum of these 20 integers and then we will take it forward. Now, because these 10 integers are greater than 5, all these 10 integers are greater than or equal to 6. So, in order to maximize the sum of these 20 integers, we have to minimize the sum of the other 10 integers. Why should we minimize the sum of the other 10 integers? Because the sum of these 20 and these 10 integers is constant. We already know that it is 150. So in order to maximize the sum of the 20 integers, we will minimize the sum of the 10 integers which are greater than 5. Now we know that all the 10 integers are greater than or equal to 6. So the minimum possible sum of the 10 integers which are greater than 5 is equal to 6 into 10, which is equal to 60. Therefore, the maximum possible sum of the 20 integers which are less than or equal to 5 is equal to 150, which is the total sum, minus 60, which is equal to 90. Therefore, the maximum possible average is equal to 90 by 20, which is equal to 4.5. Remember that there are 20 integers. Their sum, maximum possible sum is 90. So their maximum possible average is 90 by 20, which is equal to 4.5. This is the answer. In this question, we have Amal, who invested 12,000 rupees at 8% interest and 10,000 rupees at 6% interest compounded semi-annually. Now Bimal invested his money at 7.5% simple interest. The interest on both of them are the same, so we are required to find out how much Bimal has invested. That's the question. So let us find out the interest that Amal has earned. Then we will equate it with the interest that Bimal has earned and calculate the principal. For Amal, first it is 12,000 rupees for 1 year into 8% interest. So this is the amount the 12,000 becomes at the end of 1 year. Whereas the 10,000, because it is invested at 6% interest compounded semi-annually, this will effectively become 3% interest for 2 years. So whenever somebody says that he has invested R% for n years, the amount becomes 1 plus R by 100 to the power n. This is simple compound interest when the interest is compounded annually. But say if somebody says he has invested P rupees at R% interest compounded semi-annually for n years, the effective rate of interest will become R by 2 and the total time becomes 2n. So in that case, the principal will become P into 1 plus R by 2 by 100 to the power 2n. In this case, the interest is halved and the duration is multiplied. So this is the total amount that Amal will receive at the end of 1 year. 12,000 into 1.08 plus 10,000 into 1.03 into 1.03. You can use your calculator to figure out that this total will be 23569. Now the initial principal is 12,000 plus 10,000, which is equal to 22,000. This is the principal and this is the amount. Therefore, the interest that Amal got, Amal's interest will equal 23569 minus 22,000, which is equal to 1569. Now this is the interest that Bimal also earned. Suppose his principal is P. By investing at 7.5%, simple interest for 1 year. This is the interest. This is equal to 1569. Here you can multiply and find out that P is equal to 1569 into 100 by 7.5. Again you can use your calculator to find out that the answer will be 20920. So the answer in this case is 20920. The only sort of complication in this question is understanding what semi-annual means. In case of semi-annual compounding, just divide the interest by half and multiply the time period by 2, and then you can do it as normal compound interest. In this question we are given a fraction n square plus 7n plus 12 by n square minus n minus 12, and we are required to find out the largest positive integer n for which the given fraction is also a positive integer. So let us assume that the given fraction is f, and this equals n square plus 7n plus 12 by n square minus n minus 12. Now we can factorize the numerator as n plus 3 into n plus 4 and the denominator as n plus 3 into n minus 4. So we can cancel n plus 3 from both the numerator and denominator. So the given fraction will just become n plus 4 by n minus 4. Now we are required to find out the largest integer n such that this is a positive integer. Now we can simplify f further so that it becomes n plus 4 by n minus 4, which is equal to 1 plus 8 by n minus 4. How did we come to this conclusion? It is because n plus 4 is actually equal to n minus 4 plus 8. So if you divide n plus 4 by n minus 4, this actually becomes 1 plus 8 by n minus 4. Now we are required to find out the largest positive integer such that 8 by n minus 4 is also a positive integer. Now we can easily see that this will happen only when n minus 4 is equal to 8 or n is equal to 12. Because if n is greater than 12, n minus 4 will be greater than 8 and this will not be a positive integer. Therefore, f, which is equal to 1 plus 8 by n minus 4, will also not be a positive integer. So the maximum value of n for which 8 by n minus 4 is a positive integer will be if n minus 4 is equal to 8 and n is equal to 12, in which case the value of the fraction f becomes 2. Because 8 by n minus 4 will become 1 and you have to add 1, so f becomes 2. So the maximum value, largest positive integer n for which this is a positive integer is 12. That is the answer. In this question we are required to find out the number of pairs of positive integers which satisfy the equation m square plus 105 is equal to n square. So m square plus 105 is equal to n square. This would imply that n square minus m square is equal to 105, or n minus m into n plus m is equal to 105. Now here you should understand that because n and m are positive integers, n minus m is also a positive integer and n plus m is also a positive integer. Now in that case we'll just do the factorization of 105 and then try to see which of the following pairs match up. So for example, all the factors of 105 are 1, 3, 5, 7, 15, 21, 35 and 105. These are the factors of 105. Now we want n minus m and n plus m to be complementary. Complementary as in their product should match up to 105. That is 1 and 105, when you multiply them you are going to get 105. 3 and 35 will also get you 105. 5 and 21 will also get you 105, and 7 and 15 will get you 105. And n plus m will be greater than n minus m because n and m are positive integers. So what we can do from this is that the only cases which are possible are n plus m is equal to 105 and n minus m is equal to 1. The second case that is possible is n plus m is equal to 35 and n minus m is equal to 3. Notice that when you multiply them you are going to get 105. The third case is that n plus m is equal to 21 and n minus m is equal to 5. And finally n plus m is equal to 15 and n minus m is equal to 7. Now if you calculate the actual values of n and m using these four equations, you will get that n is equal to 53 and m is equal to 52 in the first case. Similarly, in the second case, n is equal to 19 and m is equal to 16. The third case, n is equal to 13 and m is equal to 8. In the final case, n is equal to 11 and m is equal to 4. So these are the four solutions for the equation m square plus 105 is equal to n square. So the required answer is 4. All we have done is find the factors of 105 and then find the complementary factors of 105. Complementary pairs of factors. By complementary pairs, we are finding out the pairs of factors which when multiplied give you 105. Once you get them, you found out that there are 4 such pairs. The pairs are 105 and 1, 35 and 3, 21 and 5 and 15 and 7. For each one of them, you will be able to find a value of n and a value of m such that n square is equal to m square plus 105. So in this case, the correct answer is 4.
The secret to crack CAT is taking a lot of mocks. We at Crack.co give all the previous year's CAT, XAT and IFT papers in the actual exam format. Also, if you just Google Crack.co free CAT mock, you can find 3 free CAT mocks in the latest exam pattern. You can take them and get detailed analysis.
In this question, it is given that there are two ants. They start from a point P on a circle and A moves clockwise direction while B moves anti-clockwise direction. So let us assume that this is the circle and this is the point P. A is moving in clockwise direction and B is moving in anti-clockwise direction. This is B. Now they meet for the first time at 10 AM when A has covered 60% of the track. So they meet somewhere over here. A has covered, this is 60% and B has covered 40%. They meet at 10 AM. Now A continues walking and he returns to point P at 10:12. Then B returns to point P at what time? So by the time A completes 60% of the track, B completes 40% of the track. Therefore, the speed of A by speed of B is equal to 60 by 40, which is equal to 3 by 2. So A is faster by 50%. Now for A to cover 40% of the remaining distance, so A covers 40% of the remaining distance in 12 minutes. Now for B to come back to P, he has to cover 60% of the circle. So 60% B covers in how much time? This is the question. So because their speeds are in the ratio 3:2, for B to cover 40% of the distance, it is going to take 12 into 3 by 2, which is equal to 18 minutes. But B has to cover 60% of the distance, not 40%. So for B to cover 60% of the distance, it is going to take 18 into 60 by 40, which is equal to 27 minutes. Therefore, B will return to point P at 10:27 AM. So to solve this question, we have first found out that the speed of A to speed of B is in the ratio 3:2. Once we have done that, we have realized that for B to reach point P, it is going to take 60% of the distance, whereas A has taken 12 minutes to cover just 40% of the distance. So once we have both of them together, the answer is 12 into 3 by 2 into 3 by 2, which again if you simplify will be 27 minutes. So the answer in this case is 10:27 AM. In this question, it is given that A1, A2, etc. are all integers such that A1 minus A2 plus A3 minus A4 dot 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 plus or minus an is equal to n for all n greater than or equal to 1. We are required to find out the sum of a1 plus a2 plus dot 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 till a1023. So if you do the simple calculation, a1 will be equal to 1, a1 minus a2 is equal to 2, a1 minus a2 plus a3 is equal to 3, and so on. So if you look at it from these two equations, if you subtract 1 and 2, if you subtract the second equation from the first equation, you will get that a2 is equal to minus 1. Similarly, from the third equation and the second equation, if you subtract the second equation from the third equation, you will get that a3 is equal to 1. You can continue doing this forward. So for example, a1 minus a2 plus a3 minus a4 is equal to 4. This is the fourth equation. So if you subtract the fourth equation from the third equation, you will get that a4 is equal to minus 1. So you can see a very clear pattern. The pattern is that all the odd numbers, that is a1, a3, a5 and so on, are equal to 1, while all the even numbers, that is a2, a4, a6 and so on, are equal to minus 1. Now you are required to find out the sum of a51 plus a52 plus dot 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 plus a1021 plus a1022 plus a1023. This is equal to how much? Now a51 plus a52 will cancel each other because one of them will be 1 and the other one will be minus 1. Similarly, all the pairs of consecutive odd and even numbers will cancel each other. Similarly, a1021 plus a1022 will be equal to 0. So the final sum will equal that of a1023. And because 1023 is odd, it will equal 1. So the answer in this case is 1. In this question, it is given that there are two circles. The radius of each of the circles is 4 centimeters. So let us first draw both the circles. They are touching each other. They touch each other externally. Each of the two circles is again touched externally by a third circle. If these three circles have a common tangent, so as there is a circle which is touching these two circles externally and there is a common tangent, let us assume that this is the common tangent and this is how the circles look like. Now we are told that the radius of the bigger circles is 4 centimeters. So this is 4 and this is 4. We are required to find out the radius of the smaller circle. Let us assume that the radius of the smaller circle is r. Now first thing you should do whenever you have circles which are touching each other is to join the centers. This won't work always, but this works most of the times because you know immediately that the distance between the two centers is the sum of the radius of the circles. So first thing we'll do is connect all the circles, all the centers of the three circles. So you'll get a nice triangle. We know the sides of the triangle. The sides of the triangle are, for example, if you name the first center as A, the second center as B, for triangle ABC, you know that AB is equal to 4 plus 4, this is equal to 8 centimeters. Whenever there are two circles which are touching each other, the distance between the centers is the sum of the radii. Similarly, AC is equal to 4 plus R. Here we are assuming that the radius of the smaller circle is R and we need to find out the value of R. And the length of BC is also equal to 4 plus R. We know this. Now what we'll do is, we'll connect, if you just look at the triangle ABC here, ABC is an isosceles triangle because AC is equal to BC. This is A, this is B and this is C. We'll connect C, we'll draw a perpendicular from C to AB. Now the length of, say if this is touching at D, the length of CD is equal to 4 minus R. Why is this equal to 4 minus R? Because the length of D and say this point is E, the length of DE is also equal to 4 because DE is parallel to AF is parallel to BG. Because all these three lines are parallel, they are basically parts of rectangles. So we know that DE is equal to 4 and the value of CE, that is from the center of the smaller circle to the tangent, is R. So the length of CD, which is basically the height of the isosceles triangle, is equal to 4 minus R. So we know that this is equal to 4 minus R. We know that AC is equal to 4 plus R over here. We know that BC is equal to 4 plus R over here. And we know that AB is equal to 4. So basically BD is equal to 4 and AD is equal to 4. Now using this you can easily calculate the length of R. How can we do this? If you consider any one of the triangles, say ACD, this is a right angle triangle where 4 plus R is the hypotenuse and the two sides are 4 and 4 minus R. So in triangle ACD, which is a right angle triangle, AC square is equal to CD square plus AD square. AC square is 4 plus R square is equal to CD square is 4 minus R square plus AD square is 4 square. you can simplify this as 16 plus 8r plus r square is equal to 16 minus 8r plus r square plus 16. You can simplify this, you can cancel the common terms, and you will get 16r is equal to 16 or r is equal to 1. To solve this question, the first thing we did was connect the centers of all the circles, then figure out that the centers of the circles form an isosceles triangle. Then we found out that the height of the isosceles triangle is 4 minus r. Once we found that, solving for r is very simple, and in this case r will equal 1. In this question, we are told that a is a real number, and we are required to find out the values that a can take for the equation x square minus 4x minus log of a to the base 2 to have real and distinct roots. So let us have a quick recap of quadratic equations. The quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 will have real and distinct roots if and only if the discriminant d is greater than 0. What is the value of the discriminant? This is equal to b square, that is the coefficient of x, minus 4ac should be greater than 0. It should be strictly greater than 0. This is when both the roots, that is if you say all they are alpha and beta, they are real and distinct. Now if b square minus 4ac is equal to 0, then both the roots are real and equal, that is alpha is equal to beta. If b square minus 4ac is less than 0, then both the roots alpha and beta will be imaginary. In this case, we are asked to find out the value of a for which the quadratic equation has real and distinct roots. So we know that b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. Now for the quadratic equation x square minus 4x minus log of a to the base 2 is equal to 0, a is equal to 1, a is the coefficient of x square, b is equal to minus 4, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant term. This will equal minus log of a to the base 2. Now we can use the same formula, that is b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. So b square is 16 minus 4ac is 4 into a is 1 into minus log of a to the base 2 is strictly greater than 0. That is 16 plus 4 log a to the base 2 is greater than 0, or 4 plus log a to the base 2 is greater than 0, or log of a to the base 2 is greater than minus 4. Now we know that the base of a logarithm is greater than 1. So we can simply take it to the other side and say that a is greater than 2 to the power minus 4, which is equal to 1 by 16. So whenever a is greater than 1 by 16, the quadratic equation x square minus 4x minus log a to the base 2 will have real and distinct roots. In this question, we are given that a quadratic equation x square plus bx plus c has two roots which are 4a and 3a, where a is an integer. We are required to find out which of the following is a possible value of b square plus c. So let us assume that because we are told that a quadratic equation has these two numbers as roots, that is 4a and 3a, this quadratic equation is of the form x minus 4a into x minus 3a is equal to 0. If you simplify this, you will get that x square minus 7ax plus 12a square is equal to 0 for some integer a. But this would imply that b is equal to minus 7a for some integer a and c is equal to 12a square for some integer a. So the value of b square plus c will become b square is 7a square minus 7a square, which is 49a square, and c is 12a square. So b square plus c is of the form 61a square. So now we will have to look at all the options, see which of the options are multiples of 61, then divide that options by 61 and we should get a perfect square. Then that is a valid option. In this case, for example, 3721 is equal to 61 square. So if 3721 is equal to 61 square, it would mean that because this also equals 61a square, 61a square is equal to 3721, or a square is equal to 61. But a is an integer, so a square cannot be 61 because root of 61 is not an integer. So this is not a valid option. Now let us see if b square plus c can be 427. If b square plus c is equal to 427, it would imply that 61a square is equal to 427. Remember that 427 is equal to 61 into 7. So this would imply that a square is equal to 7. Again, this is not possible because 7 is not a perfect square. So this is also cancelled. Now let us look at option B, which is 361. If b square plus c is equal to 361, it would imply that 61a square is equal to 361. But 361 is not a multiple of 61. This is equal to actually 19 square. And so a will not be an integer even in this case. Now let us look at the final option, which is 549. If 61a square is equal to 549, it would imply that a square is equal to 9. So a can be plus or minus 3. This is a valid integer. So the correct answer is option D, which is 549. In this question, we are given that there is a regular pyramid and the base of the regular pyramid is a square. So say this is a pyramid and this is the base of the pyramid. This is a square and each of the other four sides is an equilateral triangle. So this will be in another dimension where there is an equilateral triangle. All this, the other sides of the pyramid, which is basically in 3 dimension, will meet at an apex, and each of this is a equilateral triangle. The length of each side is 20 centimeters. So for the pyramid, the other 4 sides are 20 centimeters each, and they are all equilateral triangles. This would imply that even the base of the triangle, which we know is a square, the length of each side of the square is 20 centimeters. Now notice that the point where they made this is the apex of the pyramid, which is at the top. Now we are required to find out the vertical height of this pyramid. So what we will first do is, for each of the equilateral sides, which is along the side, we will find out the length of the median. So if you are looking only at the equilateral sides, which is one of the sides of the equilateral triangle of the pyramid, we know that it is an equilateral triangle of side 20 centimeters. So along one of those sides, if you draw a line from the apex to the bottom, which is bisecting the third side, that is, which is bisecting the base, the length of this side will be 10 root 3, because that is the median of the equilateral triangle of side 20. You can calculate that quite easily because this is 60 degrees, and so this will be 20 into sine 60, that is 20 into root 3 by 2, so that will be 10 root 3. Now consider just the base of the triangle, base of the pyramid. The base of the pyramid is a square. Now consider the point which is in the middle of the base. Now if you draw a line which is vertically to the top, it will come and meet the apex at some point. So say this is the apex. This is a vertical line of height, say h. Now again along the ground, you are drawing a line from the base, from the center of the base to the side of the pyramid. The length of this side will be 10 centimeters, because the length of the square is 20 centimeters. This will be exactly half of it. Now if you consider the apex as A and the center of the pyramid as C, and the point at which the line meets the side of the square as, say, D, ACD will be a right angle triangle. Now ACD will be a right angle triangle. The height of the right angle triangle is h, as we have just discussed. At the base it will be a right angle over here, and the length of the side along the ground will be 10 centimeters. This is CD. And when you draw a line in 3 dimension which meets from A to D over here, this will be along the side of the equilateral triangle that we have just discussed, and the length of it will be 10 root 3. Now using this, we can actually calculate the value of h, which is the vertical height of the pyramid that we need. Because this is a right angle triangle, h square plus 10 square will equal 10 root 3 whole square, or h square will be 300 minus 100, which is equal to 200, or h is equal to square root of 200, which is equal to 10 root 2. Now what we have found out is one thing. We have first found out the length of, if you draw a line from the apex of the pyramid to the center of the square, that length will be 10 root 3 directly in 3 dimension. Then we have recognized that if you just consider the triangle, where apex is one vertex, the center of the square is the second vertex, and the center of a side of the square is the third vertex, it will be a right angle triangle in 3 dimensions. Now the sides will be h, 10 and 10 root 3. Using this you can calculate the value of h, which will equal 10 root 2. This is the answer. In this question we are given that ABC is a right angle triangle with hypotenuse BC of length 20 centimeters. So let us assume that this is the right angle triangle this is B, A and C. We know that BC is the hypotenuse and the length of BC is given to be 20 centimeters. Now we are told that AP is a perpendicular on BC from A. So this is a perpendicular. Now the maximum possible length of AP is equal to, we are required to find out the maximum value of AP. So let us assume that the length of AP is equal to R. We'll try to find out a function, the value of R as as an expression, and then try to maximize the value of that expression. So let us start off by assuming that the length of AB is equal to X, the length of AC is equal to Y, the length of BP is equal to Z. Now if BP is equal to Z, the length of PC will be 20 minus Z. Why would it be 20 minus Z? Because we know that the length of BC is equal to 20. So we are just subtracting Z from 20. Now we will use Pythagoras theorem multiple times. That is in triangle ABP, x square, here x is the hypotenuse, is equal to R square plus Z square. Similarly in triangle APC, y is the hypotenuse, so y square is equal to R square plus 20 minus Z whole square. Now remember that ABC itself is a right angle triangle. So in triangle ABC, x square plus y square is equal to 20 square, where 20 is the length of the hypotenuse. So if you add the first equation and the second equation, we will get a term x square plus y square. Using substituting 20 square in place of it, we can eliminate both x and y. So that is what we are going to do next. So we will add 1 plus 2, that is these two equations. So x square plus y square is equal to r square plus r square, so that is equal to 2r square plus z square plus 20 minus z whole square. So that will be z square plus 20 minus z whole square. Now x square plus y square is equal to 20 square. So we'll substitute that. So 20 square is equal to 2r square plus z square plus 20 square minus 40z plus z square. This is just an expansion of 20 minus z whole square. Now we'll cancel out the common terms, that is 20 square, and we'll try to find out the value of r square. So 2r square is equal to 40z minus 2z square, or r square is equal to 20z minus z square. Now we'll have to vary z. The value of z can vary from 0 to 20 and try to maximize r square. You can do this in multiple ways. One of the ways that I do most often is by completing of squares. So 20 minus z whole square, I'll add and subtract 100 from both sides. This is equal to 100 minus 100 plus 20z minus z square. The reason I am adding and subtracting 100 is because I want to complete a perfect square. So here r square is equal to 100 minus z square minus 20z plus 100. This is equal to 100 minus z minus 10 whole square. This is the value of r square. So we know that r square is equal to 100 minus a perfect square. The value of a perfect square will be at least equal to 0. So the maximum value of r square will be 100, which will happen when z is equal to 10. So the maximum value of r is equal to square root of 100, which is equal to 10. This will happen when z is equal to 10, or ABC is an isosceles triangle and the perpendicular is actually a median which bisects the hypotenuse. Anyway, the answer that we are looking for is 10. The key to knowing this is knowing how to complete a square and using Pythagoras theorem multiple times. The answer is 10 centimeters. In this question, we are given a logarithm in terms of x to the base e, and we are required to find out the interval within which x can vary for this logarithm to be a real number. So if you look at it carefully, we want square root of log e to the base 4x minus x square by 3 to be a real number. For this to be a real number, the term which is of which we are taking this root of should be greater than 0. That is log of 4x minus x square by 3 to the base e has to be greater than or equal to 0. Only then will the square root be defined. Now if you are looking at this logarithm, the base of this logarithm is e, which is approximately equal to 2.7. That is, it is greater than 1. So the logarithm of a number is greater than or equal to 0 only if that number is greater than or equal to 1. That is, logarithm of a to the base b will be greater than or equal to 0 if a is greater than or equal to 1. This is true if b is greater than 1. So in this case, as e is greater than 1, for this entire logarithm to be greater than or equal to 0, 4x minus x square by 3 has to be greater than or equal to 1. When this term equals 1, the logarithm will become 0. So let us just simplify this and then find out the interval within which x has to be present. So as 3 is a positive number, we can multiply both sides with 3. So 4x minus x square has to be greater than or equal to 3, or x square minus 4x plus 3 has to be less than or equal to 0. You can factorize this as x minus 1 into x minus 3 has to be less than or equal to 0. This would imply that x must belong between 1 and 3. Both of them are included because it is less than or equal to 0. That is, 1 has to be less than or equal to x has to be less than or equal to 3, or if you look at the options, it is option A. In this question, we are given two equations in x and y. In both of them, we are given 5 to the power x and 3 to the power y. We are required to find out the value of x plus y. So to solve this, we'll first find out the value of 5 to the power x and 3 to the power y, then calculate the value of x and y from it, and then calculate what is the value of x plus y. So if you look at both of the equations that are given to us, they are relating to 5 to the power x and 3 to the power y. So what we'll do is, we'll consider 5 to the power x to be equal to a and 3 to the power y to be equal to b. So we'll first find out the value of a and b. From that, we'll find out the value of x and y, and then calculate x plus y. So the first equation transforms to a minus b is equal to 13438. Now as 5 to the power x is equal to a minus 1, 5 to the power x minus 1, which is equal to 5 to the power x by 5, will equal a by 5. Similarly, as 3 to the power y is equal to b, 3 to the power y plus 1 is equal to 3 into 3 to the power y, which will equal 3b. So the second equation will be a by 5 plus 3b is equal to 9686. So we have to just solve these two equations. These are linear equations in two variables. Calculate the value of a and b. We can do that simply by multiplying the second equation with 5. So 2 into 5 will become a plus 15b is equal to 9686 into 5. You can use your calculator to calculate it. This will equal 48430. And from the first equation, we know that a minus b is equal to 13438. So if you just subtract the second equation from the first equation, you can cancel a out. So this will be 16b is equal to 29943. Now, so b will equal 34992 by 16. Again, you can use your calculator. This will equal 2187. Now we can easily use the first equation and calculate the value of a, which will equal 2187 plus 13438. This, if you simplify, this will be 5, 8 plus 3 is 2, 1 plus 4 is 6, 5, 15625. So this is equal to 3 to the power y, or y is equal to 7, because 3 to the power 7 is 2187. This is equal to 5 to the power x, or x is equal to 625 into 5 into 5, so this will be 6. Therefore x plus y will equal 6 plus 7, which is equal to 13. So the answer in this case is 13. In this question, we are given that there are three vessels, all of them contain a solution of salt. Vessel A has 500 ml, all of them have 500 ml, and the initial strength of the solution is 10%. For B, the initial strength of the solution is 22%, and for C, the initial strength of the solution is 32%. Initially, 100 ml of A is mixed into B, and then 100 ml from the resultant solution of B is mixed into C, and finally 100 ml from C is mixed into A, and we are required to find out what is the strength of the resulting solution in vessel A. So to solve this kind of questions, there is a very simple formula that you should know. That is, if there are two solutions A and B, if the volume of both of them is like say 100 and 200, and the solution strength of A is say 12% and solution strength of B is say 24%, to combine and get the solution strength of the resultant, we have to multiply the volume with the strength and divide by the total volume. In this case, it will be 100 into 12 plus 200 into 24 whole by 200 plus 100. This is basically the weighted average of the strengths of both the solutions. So whichever has lesser volume, the impact of it in the final strength will be lesser. So we'll use the same formula multiple times to get the answer. So initially it was 500 ml each of the three solutions and the strengths are given. After the first 100 ml are shifted from A to B, A will have 400 ml and the resultant solution strength will be 10% because nothing is added to A. You just removed 100 ml from A, so the volume will decrease but the strength will not be altered. In case of B, because 100 ml is added, the volume will become 600 ml and now the strength will become, we'll apply the same formula. In this case, 100 ml from A is added, the initial weight solution strength of A is 10 plus the strength of volume of B initially was 500 ml into the solution strength was 22 by the total volume is 100 plus 500, which is 600. You can cancel 100 from all of them, so it will be 10 plus 5 into 22 is 110 by 6, that is 120 by 6. So the strength of B becomes 20%. It has changed from 22%, it has gone down to 20%. And C after the first transaction is not altered. It has 500 ml and its strength is 32%. Now when you are moving 100 ml from B to C, A will remain unchanged. It will be 400 ml and 10%. B will have a decrease in volume. From 600 ml it will become 500 ml. The strength will not change. It will become 20%. C's volume will increase from 500 to 600 ml and the resultant strength will be the same formula that we have applied. 100 ml from B, the strength of B was 20% plus 500 ml of C into the strength of B is 32% by the total volume, that is 100 plus 500 is 600. We will again cancel off 100. So this will be 20 plus 5 into 32 is 160 by 6. 20 plus 160 is 180 by 6 is 30%. Now finally we have to add 100 ml from C to A. So in this case the volume of A will increase from 400 ml to 500 ml and the resultant strength will be 400 ml was its initial volume and the initial strength was 10% plus 100 ml was added and the strength of those 100 ml was 30% by the total volume, that is 400 plus 100, that is 500 ml. We will again cancel off 100, so it will be 4 into 10 is 40 plus 1 into 30 is 30 by 5. This is equal to 70 by 5. 70 by 5 is 14%. So the answer in this case is 14%. There are multiple ways in which you can solve these kind of questions. You just have to ensure that you don't waste a lot of time and you don't commit any silly mistakes. Then you will get the answer very easily.
The secret to crack CAT is taking a lot of mocks. We at Kraku give all the previous year's CAT, ZAT and IFT papers in the actual exam format. Also, if you just Google Kraku free CAT mock, you can find 3 free CAT mocks in the latest exam pattern. You can take them and get detailed analysis.
In this question, it is given that there is a cyclist who will leave A at 10 am and reaches B at 11 am. So suppose this is 10 am. The cyclist cycles and reaches B at 11 am. Now starting at 10:01 am, every minute a motorcyclist leaves A and moves towards B. So there is a motorcyclist who will start at 10:1 and he'll reach B at some time. Similarly, another motorcyclist leaves at 10:2 and he reaches B at a different time, and so on. 45 such motorcyclists reach B by 11 a.m. So by 11 a.m. there is another motorcyclist who will leave at some point. All the motorcycles have the same speed. So the time taken by each motorcycle to go from A to B is the same. And we are told that 45 motorcyclists have reached B by 11 a.m. If the cyclist has doubled his speed, how many motorcycles would have reached B by the time the cyclist reached B? So if the cyclist has doubled his speed, he would have reached B at 10:30 a.m. Right now he is taking 1 hour to reach B from A. If he doubles his speed, he will just take 30 minutes. Now what we are required to find out is first how much time does a motorcyclist take to go from A to B. Now you can easily see that there are, if 45 motorcycles reach B by 11 a.m., we will try to calculate what is the last time at which the motorcycle left A and reached B at 11 a.m. So the first motorcycle leaves at 10:1. The second motorcycle leaves at 10:2. Similarly, the 45th motorcycle, which is the last motorcycle to reach B, left A at 10:45. So this is the start time of the last motorcycle which reached B at 11 a.m. So for a motorcycle, the time it takes to reach B from A is 15 minutes. The motorcycle which left at 10:46 would reach B at 11:1. That is something that you should remember. So now we are required to find out how many motorcycles reach B by the time the cyclist reach B. So if the cyclist doubles his speed, he'll again leave at 10 a.m. but he'll reach B at 10:30 a.m. So the last motorcyclist who would reach B before the cyclist or around the same time would have to leave A at 10:15. So the number of such motorcyclists will be 10:1 will be the first motorcycle, 10:2 will be the second motorcycle, and the 15th motorcyclist would leave A at 10:15 a.m. So the answer we are looking at is 15. 15 motorcyclists would reach B before 10:30 a.m. and that is the answer. A man has three metals: iron, aluminium and copper. So the volume of iron is 405 centimeter cube. Volume of aluminium is 783 and volume of copper with him is 351. Using these metals, he is making small cylinders. The radius of each of the small cylinders is 3 centimeters. We don't know the height. So we have to ensure that the volume of each of the small cylinders have the same volume. So let us assume that the volume of the small cylinders is V. So as the total metal is 405, for example in iron, the number of small cylinders that he'll make which are of iron is 405 by V. Similarly, the number of aluminium that he'll make is 783 by V, and the number of copper that he'll make is 351 by V. These are the different cylinders of different metals that he'll make. Now we have to ensure that the total number of such cylinders is kept at a minimum. That is, we want the sum of these three numbers, that is the number of cylinders of each metal, to be at the minimum. And then we are required to find out the total surface area of each of these cylinders. So what we'll do first is we'll figure out at what value of V will the total number of cylinders be minimum. Use that value of V. From that value of V, we'll get the volume of the cylinders. We already know the radius. So for each of the small cylinder, we'll calculate the height. Then we'll calculate the total surface area of all the cylinders. But first thing, if you want to minimize the sum of 405 by V plus 783 by V plus 351 by V, we have to keep V as high as possible. But we should also ensure that each of these three numbers are natural numbers because they represent the number of cylinders of each metal. So they can't be fractions. So V has to divide 405, V has to divide 783 and V has to divide 351. That is, V should be a factor of all of these three numbers and V should be as high as possible. This implies that V should be the HCF, that is the highest common factor of 405, 783 and 351. So now if you are given three numbers and if you have to find the highest common factor of these three numbers, there is one small trick which you can use. That is, the HCF of three numbers A, B and C will be the HCF of A minus B, B and C. You can choose any two numbers A and B. If you subtract their, if you find their difference, the HCF should even be a factor of the difference. So in this case, to quickly find out the HCF of these three numbers, we will subtract 351 from 405, because these are the two numbers which are closest to each other. We can find one number to be small, and from then we can find out the HCF easily. So in this case, the HCF will equal 405 minus 351 is 54, 783 and 351. Now if you look at 54, you can figure out that it is a multiple of 9. So we will calculate, it's a multiple of 9 and it's a multiple of 27 and 2. Clearly the other two numbers are odd numbers, 783 and 351. So we will check if 27 divides either of these two numbers. 783, for example, is 810 minus 27. 810 is 27 into 30. So 783 can be represented as 27 into 29. Similarly, 351, if you calculate, can be represented as 27 into 13. So clearly 27 is a multiple of the other two numbers, and we know that 54 is equal to 27 into 2. So the HCF of these three numbers is equal to 27. So the volume V is 27. So the volume of each of the small cylinders is equal to 27. And the number of such cylinders will be 405 by V. 405 by 27 is equal to 405 is equal to 27 into 15. So you will have 15 iron small cylinders. Of aluminum you will have 29 because 783 by 27 is equal to 29. And for copper you will have 351 by V, which is equal to 351 by is equal to 13. So the total number of small cylinders that you will have is 15 plus 29 plus 13. This will equal 57. Now let us calculate the height of the small cylinders. We need the height to calculate the total surface area. So if the height is h, the volume of the small cylinder will be pi into r square into h. This is equal to 27. We know that r is equal to 3. So pi into 9 into h is equal to 27, or h is equal to 3 by pi. So each of the small cylinder, the height is 3 by pi, the radius is 3 centimeters, and the total number of such small cylinders is 57. We just need to calculate the total surface area. Now for any given cylinder, the total surface area is equal to 2 pi r into r plus h. In this case, for each of the small cylinder, the total surface area will be equal to 2 pi into r is 3 into 3 plus 3 by pi. Now you can cancel pi, so this will become 6 pi. You can take 3 also outside, so it will be 18 into 1 plus pi. This is the total surface area of each of the small cylinders. But we have 57 such small cylinders. Therefore, for the entire all these cylinders, the total surface area will be 57 into 18 into 1 plus pi. If you calculate it, you will find out that this is equal to 1026 into 1 plus pi. That is the answer. So there are two steps in this. First, you have to calculate what is the volume of each of the small cylinder. The volume has to be a factor of each of the three numbers that are given, that is 405, 783 and 351. And it should also be as high as possible, because we want to keep the number of cylinders to be at its minimum. Once you figure out that the volume has to be the highest common factor of these three numbers, we then calculate what is the highest common factor. We figure out that it is 27. Using the fact that the volume is 27, we calculate the height of the small cylinder, that is equal to 3 by pi. Then we calculate the total surface area of each of the small cylinders, and then we calculate the total surface area of all the 57 small cylinders. In this question, we are given an equation in which we have 2 to the power 3x and 2 to the power 6x, and we are required to find out the real root of this equation. So if you look at the terms of the equation, one you have 2 to the power 6x, and then you have 2 to the power 3x plus 2. You should immediately realize that if I substitute something for a variable for 2 to the power 3x, I'll get some sort of a cubic equation or a quadratic equation, and then I'll solve for it and then find out the value of 2 to the power 3x, and then I can find out the value of x. For example, in this case, if you assume that 2 to the power 3x is equal to a, 2 to the power 6x will be 2 to the power 3x whole square, which is equal to a square. Similarly, 2 to the power 3x plus 2 can be simplified as 2 to the power 3x into 2 to the power 2. So this will be a into 2 square is 4. So the given equation, which is 2 to the power 6x is a square plus 2 to the power 3x plus 2 is 4a minus 21 is equal to 0. Now a square plus 4a minus 21 can be simplified as a plus 7 into a minus 3. This will equal 0. So a will equal either minus 7 or 3. Clearly, as a is 2 to the power 3x, it has to be greater than 0. So a cannot equal minus 7. Therefore, the value of a will be equal to 3. Now we will substitute what a actually represents. That is 2 to the power 3x is equal to 3. We will take logarithm on both sides. So this will be 3x is equal to log of 3 to the base 2, or x is equal to log of 3 to the base 2 divided by 3. If you look at the options, it is option B. In this question, we are given a product of 3 terms, 2 to the power 4, 3 to the power 5 and 10 to the power 4. We are required to find out how many factors of this number are perfect squares. So whenever you want to find out how many of the factors are perfect squares, you have to first do the prime factorization. In this case, 2 is a prime factor and 3 is a prime factor, but 10 is not a prime number. 10 is actually equal to 2 into 5. So the first step should be to actually do the proper prime factorization of the given number. So suppose the given number n is equal to 2 to the power 4 into 3 to the power 5 into 10 to the power 4. We can simplify this as 2 to the power 4 into 3 to the power 5 into 2 to the power 4 into 5 to the power 4. That is because 10 to the power 4 is equal to 2 to the power 4 into 5 to the power 4. This can be simplified as 2 to the power 4 plus 4, that is equal to 2 to the power 8 into 3 to the power 5 into 5 to the power 4. Now for this number, we are required to find out how many of the factors are perfect squares. Let us assume that a prime factor of this number is 2 to the power a into 3 to the power b into 5 to the power c. Now if this is a perfect square, then a has to be, all a, b and c have to be even numbers. So a has to be either 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. Similarly, b also has to be even, so b can be either 0 or 2 or 4. Similarly, c also has to be even, so it can be either 0 or 2 or 4. So a can take 5 values, b can take 3 values and c can take 3 values. So the total possibilities, the total number of factors which are perfect squares will be 5 into 3 into 3. This is equal to 45. But we are required to find out how many of them are greater than 1. One of the factors which is included in this 45 is 1. That will happen in the case where a is equal to 0, b is equal to 0 and c is equal to 0. So we have to remove that one particular case from 45. So the required answer will be 45 minus 1, which is equal to 44. Remember that to find out anything about factors, first do the prime factorization. Once you have the prime factorization, for a factor to be a perfect square, all the exponents of the prime numbers should be even numbers. Then you can easily calculate the required number, which in this case is 44. In this question, it is given that there is a 6-digit number in which the 6th digit is the sum of the first 3 digits. So let us put in 6 blanks first. Let the first 3 digits be a, b and c. So the 6th digit will be a plus b plus c. The 5th digit is the sum of the first 2 digits. So the 5th digit will be a plus b and the 3rd digit is equal to the first digit. So we are told that c is actually equal to a. So if c is actually equal to a plus b plus c will equal 2a plus b. And the second digit is twice the first digit. So we are told that b is actually equal to 2a. So again let us write the 6 digits with the new information. The first digit is a, the second digit is twice the first digit, the third digit is equal to the first digit and the 6th digit is the sum of the first 3 digits. So it will be a plus 2a plus a, that is 4a. And the 5th digit is equal to the sum of the first 2 digits. So this will be equal to 3a, a plus 2a. And the 4th digit is the sum of the 5th and 6th digits. So the fourth digit will be equal to 7a. It will be equal to 3a plus 4a. Then the largest possible value of the fourth digit is. So notice that when we assume that a is a natural number, so all these, the 6 blanks are all single digit numbers. They can't be greater than 9. So when you are told that 7a is also a single digit number, that is 7a is less than 9, it would imply that a is equal to 1. We know that a is a natural number which is greater than or equal to 1, and we also know that all of these 6 digits are less than 9. All of them are single digit numbers. So the only way this is possible is if a is equal to 1. Then the number will be, the 6 digit number that we were discussing will be 1, 2, 1, 7, 3 and 4. And the maximum value of the fourth digit will be 7. This is actually equal to the only possible value of the fourth digit. This is equal to 7. In this question, it is given that John jogs on track A at 6 km per hour. So there is track A on which John jogs at 6 km per hour, and Mary jogs on track B at 7.5 km per hour, and there is track B on which Mary jogs at 7.5 km per hour. The total length of track A and B is 325 meters. So A plus B is equal to 0.325 kilometers. While we are using kilometers and not meters because the speeds of both Mary and John are given in kilometers per hour. So it is better to use the same standard, not intermix between kilometers per hour and meter per second. So everything over here we are going to do it as in kilometers. While John makes 9 rounds of track A, Mary makes 5 rounds of track B. So when John makes 9 rounds of track A, the total distance he covers is 9a. This is the total distance that he covers, and the time that he takes to cover 9 rounds is distance by speed. So 9a by 6, which is John's speed, is equal to 5 rounds of track B by Mary. When Mary makes 5 rounds of track B, the total distance that she covers is 5 into B. And what is her speed? Her speed is 7.5 kilometers per hour. Using this, we can find out the lengths of A and B, at least a ratio. So we can simplify this. 5 by 7.5 is 1.5 and 9 by 6 is 1.5. So what this implies is that 1.5A is equal to B by 1.5, or B is equal to 1.5 into 1.5A. This is equal to 2.25A, which is just the square of 1.5. Now what are we required to find out? We are required to find out in how many seconds Mary will make 1 round of track A. So let us find out the length of A and B. We can use this equation, the first equation. A plus B is 0.325 kilometers, but we know that B is equal to 2.25A. So A plus 2.25A is equal to 0.325, or 3.25A is equal to 0.325, or A is equal to 0.1 kilometers. Therefore, the length of track A is 0.1 kilometers and the length of B is equal to 0.225 kilometers. Now we are required to find out in how many seconds Mary, who is running at a speed of 7.5 kilometers per hour, will make 1 round of track A. Again, we will just do the distance by time. The distance that Mary has to cover is 0.1 kilometers by 7.5 kilometers per hour. So she is going to cover this track, 1 round of this track, in these many hours. We want to convert this into seconds because the question asks us to find out how many seconds it is. So to convert the number of hours into seconds, we will just multiply it by 3600. So 0.1 into 3600 is 360 by 7.5. This is equal to 3600 by 75. You can use your calculator or you can just simplify this. You can divide both numerator and denominator by 3. So this is 1200 by 25. 1200 by 25 is equal to 48. So the answer in this case is 48 seconds. So to do this, we have just found out the two equations of between A and B, then found out the values of A and value of B, and then find out how much time Mary is going to take. The answer is 48 seconds. In this question, it is given that in 2010, a library had 11,500 books and there were two categories, fiction and non-fiction. So in 2010, there were a total of 11,500 books and they were in fiction and non-fiction. In 2015, the library contained a total of 12,760 books. In 2015, the library contained 12,760 books. Now during this period there was a 10% increase in the fiction category. So the fiction, which was initially F, has become 1.1 F, while there was a 12% increase in the non-fiction category, plus 1.12 non-fiction, because non-fiction has increased by 12%. How many fiction books were there in the library in 2015? So we are required to find out what is the value of 1.1 into F. This is the number of fiction books in 2015. So this is a simple case of two linear equations. We have two variables f and nf. We have to solve, find the value of both of them and then calculate the value of 1.1 into f. So if you look at both of the equations, there are multiple ways in which you can solve them. What I find easier is to multiply the first equation by 1.1. Then we can cancel off 1.1f, find out the value of nf and then come and calculate the value of f. So if you multiply the first equation with 1.1, the right hand side will be 1.1f plus 1.1 into nf. This is equal to 11,500 into 1.1. You can use your calculator to find out. This will equal 12650. You will be given a calculator in the exam, so this is quite easy to find out. Now just subtract the second equation from the first equation. Now 1.1f will get cancelled. On the right hand side it will be 1.12 nf minus 1.1f, which is equal to 0.02 nf. On the left hand side this will be a simple case of subtraction. This will be 110. Now so you can easily calculate the value of nf. This is equal to 110 divided by 0.02. Again you can either use a calculator or you can find out that this is actually equal to 110 into 50. This is equal to 5,500. So using the first equation, you can then calculate the value of f. This is equal to 11,500 minus 5,500, or this is equal to 6,000. Now the answer is not 6,000 because you shouldn't make that silly mistake. What we are required to find out is the value of 1.1 into f. So the value of 1.1 into 6,000 is equal to 6,600. So the answer in this case is 6,600, which is the number of fiction books in 2015. In this question, it is given that John gets rupees 57 per hour when he works in his regular work, and he gets rupees 114 per hour when he does overtime work. He works altogether for 172 hours and his income from overtime hours is 15% of his regular hours. We are required to find out the number of hours he worked overtime. So let us assume that the normal number of hours he worked is W and the number of hours he worked overtime is OW. Now we are given that OW plus W is equal to 172. This is the total number of hours that he worked. And whenever he worked in the regular time, the amount of money that he makes is 57 into W. This is the amount of money that he makes during his regular hours. And the amount of money that he makes during overtime is equal to 114 into OW. But we are told that he makes 15% of his overtime money, as in his overtime money is equal to 15% of the money he makes from his regular hours. So 114 into OW is equal to 57 into W into 15%. Now we can simplify. We have two equations. This is the first equation and this is the second equation. And what are we required to find out? We are required to find out the value of OW, which is the number of hours that he worked overtime. Now you can simplify the second equation because 57 into 2 is equal to 114. So you can cancel it off and you can find out that W is equal to 2 by 0.15 into OW. You can simplify this further by multiplying the numerator and denominator by 100. So this will be 200 by 15 OW, or you can divide both of them by 5. So this will be 40 by 3 OW. This is just simply simplifying the second equation. Now we know that W plus OW is equal to 172. We know that W is equal to 40 by 3 into OW plus OW is equal to 172. you can simplify this, that the left hand side will become OW into 40 by 3 plus 1 is equal to 172, or OW into 43 by 3 is equal to 172. Now you can cancel 43 on both sides. 43 into 4 is equal to 172. So this will be 4, or OW is equal to 3 into 4, which is equal to 12 hours. So the answer in this case is 12. It is a very simple question. You just have to form both the equations, the first equation and the second equation. Find out the values of W and OW and you will get the answer. In this question, we are given a sequence on the left hand side. It is 2n plus 1 plus 2n plus 3 plus dot 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 plus 2n plus 47. We are told that this is equal to 5280 and we are required to find out the value of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 till n. So as you can imagine, the first thing we have to do is find out the value of n. Once we find out the value of n, calculating the value of 1 plus 2 plus 3 till n is very straightforward. So if you look at the equation on the left hand side, let us first try to figure out the number of terms. The number of each of this is part of an arithmetic progression. The common difference is 2. So the initial term is 1 and the final term is 47. So it is 1, 3, 5, dot dot dot. We are only looking at the second term of each of the brackets. So the number of terms which are there is 47 minus 1 by 2 plus 1. So this will be 23 plus 1, which is equal to 24. So on the left hand side, there are 24 terms, each of them separated by 2. There are many ways in which you can calculate the sum. What I prefer to do is, I will simplify this as 2n into 24, which is the first term of each of the brackets, and there are 24 brackets, plus 1 plus 3 plus dot 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 till 47. We are told that this is equal to 5280. Now the second, the term in this bracket, that is 1 plus 3 plus dot 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 till 47, can be easily found out. There is a simple trick that you can remember, it is quite useful, which is that for consecutive odd integers starting from 1, their sum will always be a perfect square. So for example, 1 is equal to 1 square, 1 plus 3 is equal to 2 square, 1 plus 3 plus 5 is equal to 3 square, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 is equal to 4 square, and so on. That is the number of odd integers that are there on the left hand side. The sum of them will be the square of the number of terms. In this case, there are 24 odd numbers starting from 1. So this will equal 2n into 24 plus 24 square is equal to 5280. Knowing this shortcut is not the only way to solve it. You can solve it by doing the sum of the arithmetic progression, where the first term is 1 and the common difference is 2 and the number of terms is 24. You find it anyway, you are going to get the same answer, which is 24 square. So in this case, you can simplify this, that 2n into 24 plus 24 square is 576 is equal to 5280, or 48n is equal to 4704, or n is equal to 98. Now what you are required to find out is 1 plus 2 plus 3 dot 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 till n. So the sum will equal n into n plus 1 by 2. This is the sum of the first n natural numbers, which is n into n plus 1 by 2. Here the value of n is 98. So you can just substitute 98 in this. So it will be 98 into 98 plus 1, that is 99 by 2. You can simplify 98 by 2 as 49. So the required answer is 99 into 49. You can calculate this, it will be equal to 4851. You can either use the calculator or you can just do 99 into 49 is 4900 minus 49. That is because 4900 is 49 into 100 minus 49. So that will also be equal to 4851. Again, there are many ways in which you can do the calculations. With practice, you will be able to figure out what is the fastest way to solve this kind of questions. The answer in this case is 4851.
The secret to crack CAT is taking a lot of mocks. We at Crack-2 give all the previous year's CAT, ZAT and IFT papers in the actual exam format. Also, if you just Google Crack-2 free CAT mock, you can find 3 free CAT mocks in the latest exam pattern. You can take them and get detailed analysis.
In this question, it is given that a shopkeeper sells 2 tables. Each of the 2 tables was procured at a cost price of P to Amal and Asim. So there is a shopkeeper he has two tables, both of them the cost price is P and P. One he sells to Amal and one he sells to Asim. The table that he sold to Amal, he sold at a profit of 20%. So the cost price for Amal will be 1.2 P, which is 20% profit. And for Asim, he sold at a loss of 20%. So the cost price for Asim will be 0.8 P. Amal sells his table to Bimal. Amal sells it to Bimal at a profit of 30%. So for Bimal, the cost price will be 1.2 P into 1.3, which is equal to 1.56 P. While Asim sells his table to Barun at a loss of 30%. So Asim sells it to Barun at a loss of 30%. So he will pay 0.8 P into 0.7. This will equal 0.56 P. If the amounts paid by Bimal and Barun are X and Y. So 1.56 P is X and 0.56 P is Y. Then the value of X minus Y divided by P will equal, we have already figured out that X is equal to 1.56 P minus Y is equal to 0.56 P by P. So 1.56 P minus 0.56 P is P by P, this is equal to 1. So the answer in this case is 1. In this question it is given that there is a triangle ABC. The medians AD and BE are perpendicular to each other. So suppose we have ABC, this is a triangle. Now we draw the two medians, this is BE and there is AD. Now we are told that they are perpendicular to each other. It might not appear here, but it is given in the question. Now the length of AD is given as 12 centimeters and the length of BE is given as 9 centimeters. We are required to find out the area of triangle ABC. Now what we will do over here is, we will first find out, suppose the median is G, we will first find out the lengths of AG, DG, BG and GE. Because we know the lengths of AD and BE, we can infer that the length of AG is equal to 2 by 3 into 12, which is equal to 8 centimeters. Why is this the case? Because in any triangle, the centroid always divides the medians in the ratio 2:1. So if you have any triangle and you are given one median, say from A to D, and you are given the median G, then the median divides the centroid divides the median in the ratio 2:1. In this case, we are told that AD is equal to 12 centimeters. Therefore, the length of AG will be 2 by 3 into 12, which is equal to 8 centimeters. And the length of GD will be equal to 1 by 3 into 12, which is equal to 4 centimeters. So, similarly, we can calculate the lengths of BG. In this case, the length of the median is 9 centimeters. So, the length of BG will be 2 by 3 into 9, which is equal to 6 centimeters, and GE is equal to 1 by 3 into 9, which is equal to 3 centimeters. So if you input this in the diagram, BG is 6 centimeters, GE is 3 centimeters, AG is 8 centimeters and GD is 4 centimeters. Now what we will try to do is find out the area of triangle ABD. This is basically the triangle formed between A, B and the point the median touches the line BC. Once we find it out, we can easily say that the area of triangle ABC will be twice the area of triangle ABD. Because again in any triangle, if you calculate the length of one half where the median divides it, the total area of the triangle will be twice of that. So in order to calculate the area of ABD, we can find out that ABD is actually equal to the sum of two right angle triangles. One right angle triangle is BGD and the second right angle triangle is ABG. Both of them are formed when AD and BE intersect each other at a right angle. Now the area of triangle BGD can be easily found out. because we know that one of the side is 6 and the other side is 8. So the area is half into 6 into 8. Similarly, ABG is another right angle triangle and its sides are 6 and 4. Therefore, its area is half into 6 into 4. Therefore, the area of the triangle ABD, which is 1/2 of ABC, will equal half into 6 into 8 is 12. Sorry, half into 6 into 8 is 48 by 2, which is equal to 24, and half into 6 into 4 is 24 by 2, which is equal to 12. So this is equal to 36 centimeters. Now this is the area of ABD, which is 1/2 of the triangle ABC. Therefore the area of triangle ABC is equal to 2 into 36, which is equal to 72 centimeters. In this question we have learned two things. One thing that we have learned is that the centroid always divides the median in the ratio 2:1. The second thing we learned is that once you find out the length of a triangle where the median intersects the third side, the length of the area of the total triangle will be twice of the smaller triangle. That is, for example, if there is ABC and there is the median is AD, which intersects the third line BC at D, if you are able to find out the area of ABD, the length of ABC, which is the whole triangle, will be twice the length of A, B and D. So in this case the answer is 72 centimeters, 72 centimeters square. In this question we are given two sequences. One is 15, 19, 23, that is there is a common difference of 4, and the second one is 14, 19, 24, which is another arithmetic progression where there is a common difference of 5. And we are required to find out the common terms in these two sequences. So whenever you get this kind of a question, the first thing you should do is find out the first common term. And once you find out the first common term, you have to find out the LCM of the common differences. Once you get the LCM, then finding out the number of common terms is very easy. For example, in this case, we know that 19 is the first common term. So the first common term is 19. The second one is you have to find out the LCM of both the common differences. In this case, the LCM of 4 and 5 is equal to 20. So the common terms of both these sequences will be 19 plus 20D. So there will be something like 19, 39, 59 and so on. So all the terms where you add 20 to 19 or a multiple of 20 to 19 will be common between both these sequences. Now we are required to find out how many such terms exist. So it will continue to go on till we get 415 or the number crosses 415. Now you can easily find out that all the terms of this common sequence will be something like 20 into n minus 1, where n will start with 1, in which case the number will be 19. When n is equal to 2, the number will be 20 into 2, that is 40 minus 1, so that will be 39. When n is equal to 3, the number will be 20 into 60 minus 1, that is 59 and so on. This will continue to happen till n is equal to 20, in which case the number will be 20 into 20, that is 400 minus 1, so that will be 399. The next term in this sequence, when you add 20 to it, will be 419, but 419 is greater than 415. So 419 or any term greater than 415 will not be part of the first sequence. So the only common terms between the two sequences are 1, 19, 59 dot 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 till 399, which are n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2 dot 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 till 20. So the number of common terms is 20. Remember that whenever you are required to find out the common terms, first find out the first common term, in which case the first common term is 19, then find out the LCM of the two common differences, in which case the LCM is 20. So all the common terms will be of the form 19 plus 20D, and finding out the number of such common terms can be found out in multiple ways. In this case, we have found out that all the common differences, all the common terms are of the form 20n minus 1, where n starts with 1 and n ends with 20. So the number of such terms is 20. In this question, it is given that there are four real numbers a, b, x and y, such that a square plus b square is equal to 25, x square plus y square is equal to 169, and you are given that ax plus by is equal to 65, and ay minus bx is equal to k, and you are required to find out the value of k. You are either required to find out the value of k or the interval to which k belongs if you are looking at the options. So first thing that we should notice is the two equations that are given on the left are in squares, and the two equations given in the right are very similar to each other, but they have interchanging coefficients of x. So the first thing you will do is, and you should also notice that there is plus here and minus here in the second equation. So let us do one thing. Let us square the first equation, let us square the second equation and add them up. So basically k square plus 65 square is equal to this square plus this square, which is equal to a square x square plus b square y square plus 2ax by. This is 65 square plus a square y square plus b square x square minus 2ax by. Now if you add both of them, you can cancel out the ax by term, and it will be a square x square plus b square y square plus a square y square plus b square x square. Now we should immediately recognize that this is actually the first equation here into the second equation. So this is actually equal to 25 into 169. So k square plus 65 square is equal to 25 into 169. Now, so k square is equal to 25 into 169 is actually equal to 65 square minus 65 square, which is equal to 0. Why is 25 into 169 equal to 65 square? Because 25 is equal to 5 square and 169 is equal to 13 square. So if you multiply both of them, it will be 5 into 13 whole square, which is equal to 65 square. You can either calculate both of them individually and subtract them. You will get the same answer, which is that k square is equal to 0 or k is equal to 0. So the correct answer is option D, which is equal to 0. In this question, it is given that Mukesh purchased 10 bicycles in 2017, all of them at the same price. So let this price be equal to C, and he has purchased 10 of such bicycles. He sold 6 of these bicycles at a profit of 25%. So 6 of the bicycles he sold at 1.25C. This is at a profit of 25%, and the remaining 4 he sold at a loss of 25%. So the remaining 4 bikes he sold at a loss of 25%. So he sold each one of them at 0.75C. In total, he made a profit of 2000 rupees. Then what is the purchase price of each bicycle? So we are required to find out the value of C. So when he sells 6 bicycles at 1.25C, he makes a total of 6 into 1.25C, which is equal to 7.5C. And when he sells 4 bicycles at 0.75C, he makes a total of 4 into 0.75C, which is equal to 3C. So the total money that he makes in this transaction will be 7.5C plus 3C, which is equal to 10.5C. But remember that initially he purchased all 10 bikes for 10C. So the profit that he makes will be 10.5C minus 10C, which is equal to 0.5C. We are told that this actually equals 2000 rupees. This is given to us. Therefore, the value of C will be 2000 into 2, which is equal to 4000. So the purchase price of each bicycle will be 4000 rupees. That is the answer. In this question, it is given that there is an examination in which the score of A was 10% less than that of B. So score of A, if you assume is equal to A, is equal to 10% less, so it will be 0.9 into B. Similarly, the score of B was 25% more than that of C. So the score of B was 25% more, so it will be 1.25 into C. And the score of C was 20% less than that of B. So again, C is equal to 0.8 into D, which is 20% less than the score of D. We are told that A scored 72, and we are required to find out the value of D. So we can easily calculate the values of B, C and D in this and try to find out the value. So as A is equal to 72, 72 is equal to 0.9 into B, or B is equal to 0.72 by 0.9, this will be 80. Now 80 is equal to 1.25 into C, or C is equal to 80 by 1.25. this is equal to 64. Now 64 is equal to 0.8 into D, or D is equal to 64 by 0.8, which is equal to 80. So the answer in this case is 80. The score of D was 80. In this question, we are given the salaries of 3 persons, Ramesh, Ganesh and Rajesh. So we are given Ramesh, Ganesh and Rajesh in the year 2010. We are told that the ratio is 6:5:7, and we are told that the ratio is 3:4:3 in 2015. So in 2015 it is 3:4:3. If Ramesh's salary has increased by 25% in 2010 to 2015, so in this period it has increased by 25%, then the percentage increase in Rajesh's salary during this period is closest to what? We are given 4 options, we will look at it later. So in fact in this question you can ignore Ganesh because nothing has been given about him or asked about him. So let us assume that initially their salaries were 6x, 5x and 7x, and in 2015 they became 3y, 4y and 3y. We just know that the ratio of their salaries, we don't know their exact values, but we know that the increase in Ramesh's salary has been 25%. So what this would mean is that 3y is equal to 1.25, which represents 25% increase, into his original salary, which was 6x. You can simplify this, that 3y is equal to 1.25 into 6 is 7.5x, or 30y is equal to 75x, or x is equal to 30 by 75y. You can, or x is equal to 30 by 75y. You can simplify this, you can divide both of them by the numerator and denominator by 15. So x is equal to 2 by 5y, or this will be 0.4y. So we know that x is equal to 0.4y. So the initial salary of Rajesh is 7x, which will be 2.8y. This was in 2010, and in 2015 it becomes 3y. So the percentage increase in his salary is 3y minus 2.8y divided by 2.8y into 100. We are looking for the percentage increase. So this will be 0.2 by 2.8 into 100, or this will be 20 by 2.8, or this will equal 200 by 28. This will be 100 by 14. So this will be roughly around 7%. One of the options given is 7%. So the correct answer in this case is 7%, which is 100 by 14, approximately equal to 7%. In this question it is given that A and B are 2 regular polygons and they have A and B sides respectively. So there is a polygon A and there is a polygon B. The number of sides of A is A and the number of sides of B is B. It is given that B is equal to 2A and each interior angle of B is 3 by 2 times each interior angle of A. So the interior angle of A, let us assume it is equal to x, then each of the interior angles of B is equal to 3x by 2. We are required to find out the interior angles of a polygon which has A plus B sides. Now this is the question. To find out, let us first do a small diversion. We will talk about what is interior angle and what is exterior angle. So suppose you have a regular hexagon. All the angles which are inside are interior angles, and all the angles which are outside are exterior angles. So for example, if this is a regular hexagon, this angle is an interior angle, and the angle which is basically supplementary to it will be a exterior angle. So if say this is A, the exterior angle will equal 180 minus A. This is true for all of the vertices. So if say this is B, then this will be 180 minus B. So the exterior angle will be 180 minus B whenever the interior angle is equal to B. Now there are many formulas that you can remember with respect to interior angles and exterior angles, but the one formula that I use to avoid confusion is that the sum of all the exterior angles of any convex polygon is equal to 360 degrees. So if you have many exterior angles, the sum of all the exterior angles of any convex polygon is equal to 360 degrees. So in this case, what I will do is I'll first find out the exterior angles. So the exterior angles of A will equal 180 minus x. Because all the angles equal x, all the interior angles equal x, all the exterior angles will equal 180 minus x. And all the exterior angles of B will equal 180 minus 3x by 2. Now sum of all the exterior angles of A will equal 360 degrees and sum of all the exterior angles of B will also equal 360 degrees. If we just put those into formulae, there are 180 minus x into A. The number of exterior angles in A is small a, this is the number of sides that A has, and each of the exterior angles equals 180 minus x. This is equal to 360 degrees, which is also equal to 180 minus 3x by 2, which is the exterior angles of polygon B into the number of sides of B, which is equal to B. This is the sum of all the exterior angles of B and this is the sum of all the exterior angles of A. Both the sums will equal 360 degrees. Using this, we'll calculate the value of x. From x, we'll calculate the value of small a and small b, then calculate the required answer. So we can use it, we can use the formula that we can use the equation that b is equal to 2a to simplify this. So 180 minus x into a is equal to 180 minus 3x by 2 into 2a. We can cancel a, so 180 minus x is equal to 360 minus 3x, or x is equal to 90 degrees. So each of the interior angles of A is 90 degrees and each of the interior angles of B is equal to 135 degrees. So as each of the interior angles of A is equal to 90 degrees, the number of sides of A is 4. It is a square. And the number of sides of B will be B is equal to 2A, so that is equal to 8. So what we are required to find out is interior angles of a regular polygon which has A plus B, which is equal to 12 sides. Now again, to do this, what we will do is calculate the exterior angle. Each of the exterior angles of a polygon which has 12 sides will equal 360 by 12, which is equal to 30 degrees. Therefore, each of the interior angles will equal 180 minus 30, which is equal to 150 degrees. So if you have noticed this, in all the equations, what we have done is we have first found out the exterior angles. We have used the formula that the sum of exterior angles of all the polygons, whether it has 4 sides or 8 sides or 12 sides, the sum of the exterior angles of a convex polygon will always equal 360 degrees. We have used that to find out the value of A, then we have found out the value of B, and we have found out the value of A plus B, which is equal to 12. Once we have found out that A plus B is equal to 12, we found out that each of the exterior angles of a 12-sided polygon will equal 30 degrees, and hence each of the interior angles will equal 180 minus 30, which is equal to 150 degrees. Now there are many ways in which you can calculate this. There will obviously be formulas of the dimensions of the interior angles directly, but what I feel is just keeping track of the exterior angles is less confusing. We would not use one formula from the other, and even though it takes slightly more time, we will be able to get the answer for sure with a lot of accuracy. So anyway, in this question the answer is 150 degrees. In this question it is given that f is a function such that f of m into m is equal to f of m into f of n for every positive integer m and m. It is also given that f of 1, f of 2 and f of 3, all of them are positive integers. We are also told that f of 1 is less than f of 2, and we are given that f of 24 is equal to 54. We are required to find out the value of f of 18. What is the value of f of 18? So in this question, if you look at it, there are a few clues which are quite important. The clue that f of 1, 2 and 3 are positive integers is very important, because we can then simplify 24 as powers of 2 and 3. Secondly, we are also given the basic equation of f of m into n is equal to f of m into f of n. So using this, we will first try to find out the value of f of 2 and f of 3, and then we will try to find out the value of f of 18. That is our strategy. So for example, f of 2 is equal to f of 2 into 1. Now we are told that f of m into n is equal to f of 2 into f of 1. So f of 2 is equal to f of 2 into f of 1. As all three of them, that is f of 1, f of 2 and f of 3 are positive integers, they can't be equal to 0. So we can actually cancel f of 2 on both sides and we can conclude that f of 1 is equal to 1. This is the first equation. This would also imply that f of 2 is greater than 1 because f of 2 is greater than f of 1. So f of 2 is a positive integer which is greater than 1. So it will be something like 2 or 3 or something on these lines. Next we have the clue that f of 24 is equal to 54. Now let us try to simplify f of 24 because 24 is equal to 8 into 3. Now 8 is a power of 2, that is it is 2 cube into 3. So f of 24 can be definitely expressed as f of in terms of f of 2 and f of 3, and then using that we'll try to find out what is the value of f of 2 and what is the value of f of 3. So f of 24 is equal to f of 2 cube into 3. But again from the equation of f of mn, we know that this is equal to f of 2 cube into f of 3. Now f of 2 cube is equal to f of 2 into 2 into 2. So again from the given equation, this can be simplified as f of 2 into f of 2 into f of 2. That is, this is equal to f of 2 whole cube. That is, f of 2 cube is equal to f of 2 whole cube. Therefore, f of 24 is equal to f of 2 whole cube into f of 3. This we are told is equal to 54. We are also told that f of 2 and f of 3 are positive integers. We are also told that f of 2 is a natural number which is greater than 1. Now the only way in which this can be expressed, that is 54 can be expressed, is if this is equal to 3 cube into 2. Remember that 54 is equal to 2 into 27. Now the only way in which this will work, in which we can express this as a product of a cube which is greater than 1 and another natural number, is if we express 54 as 3 cube into 2. This would imply that f of 2 is equal to 3 and f of 3 is equal to 2. We can deduce this based on the prime factorization of 54. Now we need to calculate f of 18. F of 18 is equal to f of 3 square, that is 9 into 2. F of 3 square, this will again be simplified as f of 3 square into f of 2. Similar to what we have found out about f of 2 cube, f of 3 square will be equal to f of 3 whole square into f of 2. F of 3 is 2, so it will be 2 square into f of 2 is 3. So this is equal to 4 into 3, which is equal to 12. So the answer in this case is 12. Remember that using the information that is given, especially the very important information that f of 2 and f of 3 are natural numbers, we were able to find out the exact value of f of 2 and exact value of f of 3. Why did we go into that? Because we could realize that 24, the prime factors of 24 are only 2 and 3. Similarly, the prime factors of 18 are also only 2 and 3. So once we find out the value of f of 2 and the value of f of 3, we can easily calculate the value of f of 18. In this question, it is given that Anil alone can do a job in 20 days. And Sunil alone can do a job in 40 days. So let us assume that the total amount of work, the total work is equal to 40 units. 40 is the LCM of 20 and 40. We use that because it makes our calculations easier. So this would imply that every day Anil would do 40 by 2, that is 2 units of work. So in 20 days he will do 40 units of work. Similarly, Sunil will do 1 unit of work every day. So in 40 days he would complete the work by completing 40 units. Then it is given that Anil starts the job and after 3 days Sunil joins him. So in the first 3 days Anil will do 2 into 3, that is equal to 6 units. So for the first 3 days Anil alone will work and he will complete 6 units of work. Then Sunil joins him and both of them work for some time. And after a few more days Bimal joins them and together they finish the work. So here Sunil joins and after some time Bimal joins. Here all 3 of them work and then the work is finished. It is told that Bimal does 10% of the job. So the work done by Bimal is equal to 10% of 40, which is equal to 4 units. Then in how many days was the job done? Let us assume that after the first 3 days, the total job was done after k days. So the total work that is done is 6 units for the first 3 days when Anil alone was working, plus 4 units, this is the work done by Bimal, plus Anil and Sunil have worked for k into, and every day they did 3 units of work. This would equal the total work that is done, which is 40 units. You can simplify and you can find that 3k is equal to 30 or k is equal to 10 days. So k is the work that is done after the first 3 days that Anil has worked alone. So the total number of days that it takes to finish the job is 10 plus 3, which is equal to 13 days. In this question, it is given that Rama's score was 1/12 the sum of the scores of Mohan and Anjali. So it is given that R is equal to 1/12 into M plus A. After a review, the score of each one of them has increased by 6. So Rama's score has become R plus 6, Mohan's score has become M plus 6, and Anjali's score has become A plus 6. The revised score of Anjali, Mohan and Rama were in the ratio 11:10:3. So Anjali, Mohan and Rama were in the ratio 11:10:3. Then Anjali's score exceeded Rama's score by. So we are required to find out the value of A minus R is equal to how much. So let us assume that because the ratios are 11:10:3, the actual values are 11k, 10k and 3k. Using this, we will calculate the value of k, then find out how much each one of them has scored, and then calculate the value of A minus R. So because A plus 6 is equal to 11k, A is equal to 11k minus 6 and M is equal to 10k minus 6 and R is equal to 3k minus 6. Now we are told that R is equal to 1/12 of M plus A. So 3k minus 6 is equal to 1/12 into M plus A. The value of M plus A will be 21k minus 12. So now we can cross multiply both the sides with 12. So this becomes 36k minus 6 into 12 is 72 is equal to 21k minus 12. You can simplify this and find out that 15k is equal to 60 or k is equal to 4. Therefore the value of A, which is equal to 11k minus 6, will be 11k is 44 minus 6 is 38. And the value of R is equal to 3k minus 6, that is 3 into 4, 12, minus 6 is 6. We are required to find out the value of A minus R. This will equal 32. So the correct answer is 32. Thanks for watching this video. I had a lot of fun in doing it. If you're looking for previous papers of CAT or ZAT or IFT or MAT or any of the MBA exams, you can find them on our site. All of them are given for free and all of them have detailed explanations. You can take each of these exams in exam format so that you can evaluate how you would have done if you had taken the exam in that particular year. You can also download the previous papers as PDFs so that you can solve them at your own leisure. All the best and please prepare well for CAT.